So when it comes to the big lap around Australia, there's some things that get discussed all the time, and that is, where are you going? And what van are you taking? But probably the most common question we get asked all the time is, how do we afford it? And I always find this a really interesting question because whilst, yes, I want to recognise that we are fortunate in life, I don't think we got anything above an average income. So I'm going to be going through all the ways that you can make a big lap around Australia work financially, the ways that people find their money, and also how we do it personally. So then you have a bit of an idea of how one family in particular does it. Now, I want to start by saying that there is no right or wrong way of doing this, and quite often you'll find many families, they will do multiple of these things I'm about to suggest. So grab a pen and paper and let's get stuck straight into it. So the first thing to do is to save up before you leave. Now, I know this sounds really, really obvious, but it's probably the way that a lot of people, the majority of people, like to travel around Australia, because you know that you've got a set amount of money and you know that that has to last you however many months that you would like to travel. There are a couple of catches to this, and you can probably see them already. And that is, how much do you need to save up for? Well, you can go, how long is a piece of string? Interestingly, I do have a spreadsheet on that one that can help work out exactly what you need to save up for. So feel free to check that one out. I'll put a link in the description below. And I have plenty of other videos on how to save up and how to work out how much you need to save up for. Because without that number, you're just saving up like endlessly, and that never really works. So you need to know how much to save up for. And to do that, a lot of people do decide just to put a figure away each week. So say if it's $50, $100, whatever you can manage without stretching the budget too much, because we know that living expenses are, they're pretty horrible at the moment. But if you can work it out strategically, and if that might mean to push your holiday back by another year, well, then you need to work out to keep everything comfortable. So save before you leave. Now, in this category, there is also some other things you can do. So such as, for example, have a chat with your boss, because you might be able to do your holiday pay. And another option could be a holiday pay at like half rate if your company offers something like that. You might be able to take out some annual service, long service leave, depending on how long you've been there and what state of Australia you're living in. But there's also some other ways that you might be able to come up with some ideas if you just have a bit of a chat around and a bit of a chat with your boss at work. You never know. Hey, it's worth the question, isn't it? Some other ways are sell your stuff. And look, honestly, this is a really good way to save up, because if you are going to be renting out or moving out of your house, you don't want to store a whole bunch of crap that's that you've probably just got secondhand off Marketplace. So I might be talking about myself here, but you just want to, if you can sell it and you don't mind selling it, it's going to firstly boost your income for, your budget for your trip. Secondly, you don't have to put it anywhere while you're away on your holiday. So have a bit of a think about that one. Other ways you could do it is talking about your house. What about renting out your house? Have you considered doing this? A lot of people do rent out their house, either fully with a managed, we call them plan manager agent, or you can have a look into doing an Airbnb. Now, you need to do your research with that, and I might do another video down the track, because there are a couple of traps with both of those. But it's to get your thought process happening. And like I said, grab your pen and paper, write some of these ideas down. Then you can go back through them and work out, is there something in particular that will work for you and your family? I've also got here in my notes some super investments. I don't know about your particular way you live your life, but perhaps have a bit of a look in that. Is it worthwhile using some of your investments if you've got anything like that? Depending on your age, have a chat with your financial advisor about super. That's not my strong point. Don't quote me on anything there, but just have a chat. See what might be possible. And then also the other thing is too, depending on how much you really, really want to do the lap of Australia, have a look at your living expenses. Is there somewhere you can tweak your budget to go, well, you know what, instead of eating out once a week, let's save that $100 and pop that in a savings account, and that's going to be our holiday money. And you'll be surprised just by swapping over a few simple things how much it all adds up. So just have a think about it. It's open communication, have a chat with your family and see what might work for you. Now, the second part to this is not every family leaves with their full budget already worked out. And you might be going, what? That sounds a bit strange, but let me explain. What I mean by that is a lot of families also work while they travel. So think of it more of a lifestyle change as opposed to I'm going just on a wonderful holiday and it's going to be all expenses paid and amazing. And whilst that's awesome, and a lot of families do that, it's out of reach for the majority of us included. So we do work while we travel. So how do you go about working while you travel? There are so many ways that you can do that. Do make sure you subscribe to this channel, because I will be putting up lots more information on the type of jobs you can look for while you're out traveling. But for now, a brief overview. Firstly, you could either stop for work. It seemed pretty obvious until well, maybe it doesn't seem so obvious. It didn't to me to start with anyway. But what you can do is travel and stop in a certain spot for a length of time, a couple of weeks perhaps. See what's around in that local community, because you never know. They might be looking for somebody to help in the local bakery or the cafe, caravan park. And a lot of the little towns out around, in the middle of nowhere, are desperate for people to work there. And the magic with Facebook and social media and all of that is you can jump into the Facebook groups around that area and you can find out what's going on before you even get there. So you've got a rough idea. So if you have some skills that can transfer, or you're happy to upskill yourself, maybe get your coffee making license. I don't know, whatever that is. That barista? I'm not too sure, but anyway, your cafe style, or maybe your responsible service of alcohol, or maybe there could be a few little ticket items like that could help when you are looking for some work to go, hey, I've already got these. Another one is have a chat with your boss once again. Is there any chance that you could take your work online? There's a lot of industries that this is possible. Of course, there's a lot that you can't, but there's a lot that you have, like more the admin and more of the computer side of things. They go, you know what? If we can tweak your role here, why don't you stay on board and do, part-time work and do it in this department instead? But until you have those conversations, you don't know what's possible. So it's food for thought, really, isn't it? Another option is to transfer your location. So a lot of bigger companies I'm talking about now have multiple locations around the state, around Australia. And the chat could be, well, hey, could I get a transfer to Queensland and then be based there for 3 months or so? And then, but it starts with that conversation, and it starts with what might be possible. Some other options, freelance and to work for yourself. Now, if you do have a wonderful online skill, or you'll be surprised the skills that you currently have, you might be able to actually take them online, and you could look at freelancing. Freelancing, basically, if you're not too sure of the terminology, it just means working for yourself, going out there to find some work. So examples for that would be, well, myself, I'm a writer, so I can write for others, a lot of graphic design, editors, social media managers, virtual assistants. There's so many now online that you might be, well, it's something that you might be able to use your skills to take onto online. So the other one that we found with a lot of families do is FIFO, so fly in, fly out. And we've met numerous families that do it this way. It's not for everyone, but what happens is one of the adults will drive to the local airport, fly out for a week or two, and then fly back to rejoin the family for a week or two, whatever the rotation roster might be. And then, that continues as the family base sort of just moves along around Australia. It's not for everyone, but it's certainly something to consider, and it's certainly an option. So there you have it, everyone. So you've got save up before you go, or find some work on the road. Now, what do we do? So I said that I was going to mention what we do. We do a mixture of everything. So we save up. So we like to depart with a pool of money, knowing that that's our backup, I guess. And then when we are traveling and on the road, our income comes from mainly renting out our house. Obviously, the bank takes a little bit of that one too, so it's not the full amount, but we do get a bit of income from renting out our house. I work on the road, so I'm a freelance writer. So therefore, I've got my regular clients that I write for on the way as I go. And also, full disclosure too, sorry, microphone, I did it again. Full disclosure there, we do earn some income through like Facebook, through ads, and also some of our PDF sales. So to help you guys up to save up for budget for your big lap travel. Now, if you do want to get your hand on one of those spreadsheets, we'll put your link down below. Otherwise, go and watch this video here somewhere, and that will be all about how to best save up that money if you decide to leave with that big pool of money. watch this video, and that's the best place we've found to save up that big pool of money before you leave. So I'll see you in that video.